Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another First Listen review, and I'm about to babble about the great and almighty Led Zeppelin and their 50th anniversary of their landmark album, Physical Graffiti. This is one of those albums I just remember. It's huge. I mean, I was I was like super young when this album came out, so I didn't really get into them until maybe 10 years later, but I just remember hearing these songs on the radio all the time when I was first discovering music, and I was, sitting there with my little radio trying to record every song that I could capture, and my first introduction to this entire album was they had this thing on the radio it was called the Six Pack, and every Sunday night, the local radio station, I say local, it was about an hour and a half away, used to play 6 albums, and they would just, play from the whole entire album from beginning to end, and they would announce what they were going to be ahead of time, so I would decide whether I was going to stay up, or I would set my alarm for the middle of the night when I thought maybe the album, because you kind of timed out, you could kind of time albums, it was going to be right around from 35 to 45 minutes intervals. So if you didn't want the first album, if you already had it or you just didn't care, I'd set my alarm for they start at midnight, and I'd set it for 12:35, so I could wake up and hear where it was, and maybe get my tape ready to record what they were going to play. So anyway, long story short, this was one of those albums where I did that. So I used to listen to this a lot because it was one of the first ones I ever got was this. So of Zeppelin's or of any band, I like rock, because that's how I used to get stuff. I was, just a little kid, 11, 12 years old, just sitting by the radio recording stuff. So anyway, listen to this album a lot. I love it. So when I heard they were doing the 50th anniversary, I got really excited about this, and I couldn't wait to get it. And then when I saw what they were doing, I realized, oh, this is exactly the same thing as the 2015 version that they did, except they're throwing on this live EP as an additional thing. Otherwise, it looks like everything else is the same. At least that's like cat out of the bag, in case I haven't said it already, which I don't think I did. All I got was the live EP, because I saw, like I just stated, that this is all the same stuff that came out in 2015. So it seemed like kind of a waste to get the exact same thing I already have again, all just to have a live EP, which I could get by myself. So anyway, a little bit mixed feelings on this one, and quite honestly, after I got the live EP, reading up on it, I realized that these songs have already been released. However, they've not been released on EP. The Zeppelin DVD thing they did back in 2003 had all these songs on it. I actually have the whole Nebworth thing on a bootleg or something I have somewhere. So I actually have all this stuff already, even though I bought it, but this is the first time it is on disc. Why they didn't do the whole concert of either one of these, I don't know. Just 2 songs from each one of these places is a little weird. But anyway, getting back to it, if you didn't get the 2015 version of this, that's worth picking up. Jimmy Page himself went back and remastered it. They threw some bonus stuff on there. The classic stuff, of course. The first disc opens with more of the rock and bluesier stuff, like Custard Pie, The Rover, My Time of Dying was epic to me. All that, Kashmir, which I'm in a band right now, still plays that song. It's probably one of the biggest songs that goes over, and then when we finish that one, people just go nuts because that song itself, not because we play it so great, I mean, don't want to pat myself in the back too much, but because that song itself is just amazing, and people just love, to this day, 50 years later, still love that song. So, and this, for me, disc 2, In the Light was a great song. I love the way that starts, because it's mesmerizing, and then it's a little bit more of the mellower stuff. You get Bronwar on there, and Wonton Song. Just for me, it just seemed more laid back. And then on the X, there's some extras thrown in the 2015, some earlier versions of Trampled Underfoot, and some extra jams that they had in there thrown in. I don't remember what everything was now. I probably should have, as always, as anybody knows, listen to my stuff, I don't prepare enough ever, but my main, concern on this one wasn't all that stuff anyway. It was the live disc. So the live EP here is mainly what I was going to concentrate on, and that contains 2 songs from the 1975 concert they did in where the hell was it? London's Earl's Court. I mean, I can't even say it right. May 24th, they did In My Time of Dying and Trampled Underfoot, which, live, they're a 4-piece band. The original of this has a lot of overdubs and stuff going on, so obviously they can't do all that. So live it's got more of a raw feel, and I think they do a great job on this. They really sound amazingly good. Because one funny thing, because I've heard a lot of, if you've seen The Song Remains the Same, that's strangely they chose that concert to do, because it's probably not one of their best performances ever. This here they sound great, way better than they sounded on that one. I've got some other Zeppelin stuff. Sometimes they're one of those bands that can be like super awesome, or not the best stuff ever. So this is actually one of the highlights of that time frame where they actually Robert Plant was like nailing it, and Jimmy's playing was right on par. It's funny because John Paul Jones and John Bonham are always top notch. It's always Jimmy and Robert. You never quite knew what kind of night they were going to have. Just from what I've noticed and the stuff I've listened to over the years, it is what it is. I mean, I love them, but live sometimes things are rough. I mean, they partied hard on the road, so not every show was top notch, but still, it's still one of the best bands out there ever, still anyway. But these were great. And then there's 2 songs from the Nebworth show. They did Sick Again and Cashmere, and once again, Sick Again has never been one of my favorite songs of theirs, although they did play it well. It's still one of their top-notch performances. It was still real good. It's funny that they didn't do the whole the whole Nebworth concert, we'll release that. I don't know why they didn't do that. That's part of this one. We just got 4 songs here, but the version of Cashmere on here was amazing. I've listened to it a few times of this version of it, but it was still fun to sit back and put the headphones on and listen to it again. It sounded great. So it was, I don't know, I still have mixed feelings about it. Yes, it was worth listening to. It was worth having the EP. It wasn't that much. I would paid $11 for it or something. It was cool to sit back and listen to it and have it again. I would have wished I could have had the whole thing, the whole concert, but we got what we got, and it was good. I didn't buy the whole physical Graffiti album again because basically it's the same as the 2015 reissue, which I already have. So if anybody's thinking about getting that's from what I've read up, that's what this is. So, if I'm wrong on anything, feel free to, that's what this is about, just talking and sharing what we think of things. And like I said, this is not the be-all end-all opinion, but it's my opinion, and feel free to share yours. Like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because I would really love it if they would release more of this stuff, because obviously they have it, so why not just release it? So until then, I guess we'll see you.